Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, championing the unsung heroes of business, accountants.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Jeremy Hemsworth. Jeremy is a seasoned marketer and U.S. Army veteran. Thank you for your service. He currently leads partner marketing at Ramp and has held various marketing roles at Microsoft, Slack, and Salesforce. Throughout his career, he has focused on helping customers understand how tech and automation can boost productivity and business impact. Based in Nashville, he balances career with a hobby farm raising chickens and sheep. Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Jeremy Hemsworth.
Thanks, Ed.
Well, first off, Jeremy, why do you do what you do?
Yeah, great question, Ed. The reason I do what I do is because I really care about helping other people and other businesses be more effective, to give them time back, be more productive, so they can focus on the things that really matter to them. For me, it's during the pandemic, I decided to move down to Nashville and start a hobby farm with chickens and sheep so that I can give my kids the experience that my parents had growing up, and something that they finally talked about. And so for me, I love being more productive at work, being more efficient, so I can put time back in, and then I can spend time with my family and watch my kids play with the sheep and the chickens and all that.
Well, talk to me a little bit about how Ramp has recently helped a customer of yours create value.
Yeah, absolutely. Funny you should ask that. And I was just at a customer event not too long ago, or a Ramp event, where we talked about a customer, and that's Walter Farms, which I feel like I have a special connection to, simply by way of understanding the process of growing food. And we, in addition to animals, we have a garden, not very well tended, but we're doing it. But one of our customers, Walter Farms, they grow, I would say, like, if you've eaten a potato or a French fry in the United States, chances are you've probably eaten one of their products. And their CFO, prior to using Ramp, was spending a ton of time on manual processes, importing receipts, and so forth. And with Ramp, we've been able to save his team a tremendous amount of time, to where, already working in a farming operation, it's all hands on deck. But for him, instead of spending evenings doing receipts and trying to run the business, he was able to spend more time with his family. And that's something I can really connect with.
Well, as well as the folks who work for him, you said it was an entire team effort, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Saved time across the organization, not only for the CFO, but also for the accounts payable folks as well. So definitely delivered more value for the whole team.
And yes, it can certainly get people to, get to their kids' basketball games on times, which is great. But it also potentially creates that additional time that they can invest someplace else in the business, where they can perhaps even add some more value.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of our big themes this year, is helping customers not only spend more time with the things outside of work, but as far as a finance team, focus on things that are more strategic. One of the studies we've conducted, you think about like the way the CFO and the way their team spends time, a lot of it is on just keeping the lights on activities, things that you can use automation to augment or to supplement, whereas they're more fulfilling for them to spend the majority of their time doing the strategic tasks, thinking about the direction of the business, acquisitions and funding and so forth, not on doing expenses and scanning receipts. And so for Ramp, one of the things we love to do is be able to help organizations get that tedious, the minutia off their plate, and so they can focus on the big things for their business.
And in focusing on those big things, have you been able to help them make that transition? I mean, I imagine that maybe many folks who are CFOs went into it to do exactly what you just said, acquisition type stuff, but they just didn't have the time to do it. But are you also now coaching them on making that transition back to really what maybe they wanted to do in the first place?
Absolutely. Yeah. What we found, and we've done some recent research, to dig into this, but the average team saves, close to 10 hours a week that they can focus 10 hours away from scanning receipts and reconciliation and coding transactions, Instead, those 10 hours a week go back into the things that really matter to them, like focusing on the financing, getting to those basketball games, or whatever else is on their plate.
And Jeremy, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
Yeah, Ed. Thanks for that question. It's a good one. A hero for me that, coming from the military, that tend to look to military leaders for inspiration and guidance and such. And one that really stands out to me is Colin Powell or General Colin Powell. Or I forget what his other titles were, but I know mostly as General Colin Powell. And some elements of his leadership just really stand out as far as being a servant leader, putting his troops in front of him, eating last, things like that, to where you don't have people just follow orders. You have people that look to you for inspiration because they know you care about them. And so, for me, Colin Powell has always been an example of someone that I could aspire to be, as far as leading, organizations, military teams, and so forth. And so it's someone that I think about whenever I'm on, contemplating my leadership journey.
And lastly, Jeremy, how can somebody contact you?
Absolutely. Would love to be in touch, and you can do so several ways. One is just getting in touch with Ramp, ramp.com, as well as TryRamp on Twitter. We have a very active social media presence. And then if you want to reach out to me personally, just Jeremy Hemsworth on both LinkedIn as well as Twitter.
All right. Jeremy Hemsworth, thanks for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Thanks, Ed.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.